This is a story that we've been following for the past week, and today all four members of the Siders family are being held on $300,000 bond after waiving their preliminary hearing.
Now we learn more about Elizabeth Siders today. Her attorney saying he believes she is the mother to all 16 of those children. West Virginia records show Elizabeth was just 15 years old when she married Gary, who was 18 in 2008. 2 months later, the first of the 16 children was born. Elizabeth Siders' attorney asking a judge to lower her bond, saying she could be a victim herself.
At this point in time, we are still not sure, at least at my office, whether my client is a victim herself or not. I have previously stated that she does not necessarily characterize herself as a victim, but the investigation from the prosecutor's office, the investigation from my office is still ongoing.
Now, the attorney for Gary Siders Sr. is also asking for his bond to be lowered, citing concerns about the 73-year-old's competence. Now, the attorneys for Christina and Gary Jr. were either not in court today or chose not to address the media.
Right now, attorneys and prosecutors are waiting for a grand jury indictment. There's no timeline for that yet. Libby Cathy spoke to a former Vinton County prosecutor about this case, and she joins us live in studio tonight with what she's learned. Libby.
That's right, Jeff, Yolanda. I spoke today with Jim Payne, a former Vinton County prosecutor and judge who could be arguing or ruling on this case if he was still serving in those positions. Now, he stressed he doesn't have inside knowledge on this case, but because of his experience, we discussed what he expects could come next.
This is the type of case that many prosecutors would not want to handle because you're dealing with kids, and anytime you have child victims, that's the worst.
That's former Vinton County prosecutor and common pleas judge Jim Payne. He says all four Siders waiving Tuesday's preliminary hearings isn't unusual, explaining defense attorneys
don't want to rush into hearings that they're not prepared for. They have to make sure that they get all the evidence that's available so that they can provide a proper defense for their clients.
He expects the next step will be a grand jury, where prosecutors present their evidence and ask jurors whether there's enough to formally charge the defendants.
It's relatively low bar. That's probably what's happening at this point. They're probably pulling the names of potential grand jurors.
If the grand jury agrees,
then it goes to the indictment. They'll have another arraignment.
For now, investigators are still building the case.
Investigators will need to track down where did they live, are there any witnesses there, any other cases.
Payne, who spent more than 2 decades as a criminal defense attorney, says defense attorneys are doing the same. On Tuesday, Elizabeth Siders' attorney said he's looking into whether she could be a victim as well.
Her case is potentially different. Out of all four, that would be the one that I would have the most questions about.
Payne expects the four Sider defendants will be tried separately, and in the case of jury trials, says jurors may have to be pulled from outside Vinton County.
It's going to be, in my view, very difficult to seat a full panel for a jury trial for just one of these cases.
Payne stresses the legal process is only beginning.
The truth will come out. We are looking easily probably a year or more before this case will work out.
I also spoke late this afternoon with Highland County Prosecutor Collins. She tells me she has been tapped as a special prosecutor on this case, but she had no other details about what that role could entail at this time. Jeff, Yolanda?